the remote mountains of the Hindu Kush in northwestern Pakistan hides an ancient mystery, an ancient tribe that has endured for centuries known as the Kalash. This tribe has remained isolated from the rest of the world, managing to survive one of the most challenging environments on Earth. A territory often inaccessible and potentially lethal, surrounded by the most imposing and dangerous mountains on the planet. A unique community also for the beauty of its men and women, with unique features in the world very different from those of the country in which they live. A reality that has a lot to do with maintaining also an inspiring and modern way of life, celebrating marriages based on love and gender equality, in a region where these practices are really extraordinary. Do not miss this new video of Uncensored World to discover the secrets of the Kalash, one of the most isolated and unknown tribes on the planet, whose origin may have to do with descendants of the soldiers of the conqueror Alexander the Great, a people that needs to be protected as it could soon disappear, and that even today in the 21st century still maintains millenary traditions due to living in one of the most inaccessible regions of the world. Pay attention and don't miss this video. Soon you will know with us what is probably one of the most extraordinary and unknown tribes of the planet. Let's get started. Before meeting the Kalash, it is good to understand that much of the reasons that make them unique, both in their physical appearance, as in their customs and traditions, is due to the place where they live, more specifically the highest and most dangerous mountain range on the planet, in the country of Pakistan, a mysterious land known as the Land of the Giant Mountains. This region is one of the most beautiful and enigmatic places, but as you will see, also one of the most unknown and extraordinary places on Earth. Pakistan is located in southern Asia and is bordered to the north and northwest by Afghanistan, to the east by India, to the south by the Arabian Sea, and to the west by Iran. This country, with a total area of approximately 882,000 square kilometers, is one of the most populated in the world, occupying the 5th place with more than 240 million inhabitants. But this overpopulation has nothing to do with the reality of the Kalash people, because as you will see, in the region where they live, hardly any other community could manage to survive. This difficulty has to do with the fact that the geography of Pakistan is really extraordinary and very diverse. From the fertile plains of the Punjab to the arid deserts of the Thar and the vast Himalayan mountains, the country offers a rich variety of landscapes and can probably be considered one of the most scenically beautiful environments on the planet. In the north, some of the world's most impressive mountain ranges are found, including the Himalayas, the Karakoram, and the Hindu Kush. These mountains are not only a natural spectacle, but are also home to numerous glaciers and rivers that sustain life in the surrounding regions, helping people like the Kalash to survive in this region for centuries. This is the highest mountainous region on the planet, and this means that even today in the 21st century, many areas, cultures, and communities in Pakistan remain unchanged and preserve their ancestral traditions. It is important to understand that Pakistan was formed as a country only a few decades ago, and a large part of its population has origins in India. However, the Kalash have inhabited this region, especially this remote area among the highest and most dangerous mountains in the world, for centuries. This small ethnic group has lived for generations in one of the most remote and inhospitable places on the planet, surrounded by imposing peaks and deep valleys that act as natural walls, protecting and, at the same time, isolating their way of life and traditions. This rugged territory, where climatic conditions are extreme and access routes are limited, has been the key for the Kalash to keep their culture intact and remain almost oblivious to outside influences. One of the most extraordinary curiosities of the Kalash has to do with their origin, since even today, science does not formally recognize what is the origin of this millenary tribe. The origin of the Kalash is therefore one of the great unsolved mysteries in the history of Central Asia. For centuries, there has been speculation about their origin, as their culture, traditions, and physical features significantly separate them from the surrounding communities in Pakistan. One of the most fascinating and popular theories is that the Kalash are descendants of Alexander the Great's soldiers, who would have remained in the region after the Macedonian conquerors' expeditions more than 2,000 years ago. This hypothesis, although intriguing, lacks conclusive evidence and is based mainly on historical accounts and local legends passed down through the generations. Historians and anthropologists have attempted to confirm this connection through genetic studies and comparisons of cultural patterns, but the results so far have been inconclusive. Some genetic analyses have shown similarities between the Kalash and certain European groups, which could support the Greek heritage theory. However, other experts argue that these similarities could be due to ancient migrations not directly related to Alexander the Great, further complicating the study of their true origins. The isolated geography and cultural resilience of the Kalash have also played a crucial role in preserving their identity and perpetuating their mysterious origin. Isolated by the perilous peaks of the Hindu Kush, they have managed to maintain a way of life and social structure that has not been easily influenced by surrounding civilizations. This isolation has allowed stories of their connection to the ancient Greeks to persist, but has also made it more difficult for researchers to establish definitive links. Thus, the geography of the region has not only been a refuge, but also a challenge. For centuries, the Hindu Kush mountains have been considered dangerous and off-limits to outsiders, making the Kalash the guardians of an ancient legacy that continues to intrigue all who venture into their territory. This natural isolation has been the barrier that has allowed them to preserve customs, rituals, and a lifestyle that contrasts sharply with the rest of Pakistan and the world. The routes through the mountains, difficult to travel and dangerous for those who do not know the terrain well, have kept the Kalash safe, but also away from the transformations that have affected neighboring civilizations. This isolation, however, is not only geographical, it is also cultural and spiritual. Surrounded by a landscape that looks like something out of an ancient world, the Kalash have built an identity of their own, influenced as much by their natural environment as by their beliefs and customs, which differ markedly from those of the majority of Pakistan's population. Travelers and explorers who venture into this inhospitable region encounter not only a community that has stood the test of time, but an enigmatic people whose survival in such an extreme environment continues to amaze and fascinate many societies. Due to their long history in this isolated territory, the origins of the Kalash differ markedly from those of the rest of the Pakistani population. Their physical features, which combine Western, Arab, and Mediterranean characteristics, as well as their eye color, mostly deep blue, and their culture, reflect a unique heritage distinct from the predominant Muslim traditions of Pakistan. Their customs and festivities are far removed from the religious norms of the Muslim-majority country, preserving an ancestral and totally independent lifestyle. For all this, another of the most striking curiosities of this legendary tribe has to do with their physical appearance, as the Kalash are known for their unusual physical characteristics that distinguish them from other ethnic groups in Pakistan and the surrounding region. Unlike their neighbors, many of them have light eyes, varying between shades of green and blue, and hair ranging from blonde to light brown. These features, uncommon in the Indian subcontinent, have fueled the theory of their possible European or Greek origins, linking them to the expeditions of Alexander the Great and his soldiers that you once knew. These characteristics are so striking that the Kalash have been the subject of genetic studies in an attempt to better understand their origin. The Kalash community, however, is not defined solely by their physical features. Although they are a distinguishing feature that sets them apart and makes them a point of interest to anthropologists and tourists, they themselves do not pay as much attention to these particularities as outsiders do. For them, these features are a natural part of their identity and not a reason for differentiation. Despite the international interest in their physical characteristics, science has not yet been able to fully unravel the mystery of their genetic origin. Although some studies show a slight connection with European populations, others suggest that these similarities may have developed independently due to their isolation and adaptation to the environment. Thus, their unique traits continue to be the subject of study and speculation, keeping alive the enigma of the Kalash and their connection to distant civilizations. The Kalash have a way of life that stands out for its focus on freedom and gender equality, something truly inspiring in a country like Pakistan, where social and religious norms are much more restrictive. In the Kalash community, marriages are based on love and free choice for couples, allowing both men and women to have a choice as to whom they marry and whether or not they wish to continue that relationship. This is in contrast to the traditional customs of the majority of the Pakistani population, where arranged marriages and patriarchal structures are often the norm. In addition, Kalash women enjoy greater freedom to participate in the festivities and social life of the community, without the restrictions imposed by dominant practices in other parts of the country. In terms of family structure, the Kalash allow women to divorce and remarry if they wish, which is unusual in the region. This flexibility in relationships and respect for individual freedom has allowed the Kalash to maintain a culture focused on the well-being and satisfaction of its members, ensuring a society in which love and personal happiness are prioritized over imposed social norms. At this point, we would like to ask you, would you like to spend some time with the Kalash and enjoy the beauty of the highest mountains on earth? What has impressed you the most about this vibrant culture? Pause the video and leave us your comment. You know that doing so is the best way for you to support Uncensored World and help us keep working to create interesting content like this every week. So, thank you. Isolated by their geographical location, the Kalash have had limited contact with the outside world. Even today, they live in a mountainous environment even more inaccessible than many areas of the Amazon rainforest, only possible with off-road vehicles, which allows their culture and customs to continue to be preserved. Pakistan's Muslims consider the name Kalash to be derived from the word kafir, which means non-believer or heathen in Urdu, reflecting their religion and practices that are different from those of the majority of the country's inhabitants. The Kalash are a community of less than 4,000 people, recognized in the region for their vibrant dress. Kalash women are known for their unique beauty in the region, with features such as light eyes and fair skin, which sets them apart from other groups in the region. They often wear long black robes called shut, which are adorned with colorful embroidery reflecting nature and their beliefs in spirits. They also wear elaborate headdresses decorated with shells, beads, and feathers, symbolizing their social status and cultural identity. Rather than following Islam, the Kalash practice a form of animistic paganism that worships multiple deities and is strongly linked to nature and their ancestors. This spiritual approach manifests itself in their festivals, rituals, and customs, as you will now see. One of the most striking characteristics of Kalash culture is its more open-minded outlook and the importance of gender equality compared to Muslim communities in the region. Kalash women enjoy greater freedom in everyday life, and their rights are more respected compared to many women in more traditional societies. Kalash women also have a notable presence in public life, actively participating in celebrations and community decisions. A very striking aspect of this ethnic group, even more so in the Muslim majority region, is that a Kalash woman can marry several men at the same time. This practice is based on the idea of keeping the family lands together and guaranteeing the economic stability of their community. Surely the most striking curiosity of the Kalash has to do with the fact that many of their women give birth at home, a practice that has persisted for centuries. For them, this custom is nothing extraordinary, but a natural part of their traditional way of life. Home birth takes place in a reserved space called a bashali, a hut specifically for pregnant women, where they receive care and stay until they feel ready to return to their daily activities. This process has been passed down from generation to generation, and Kalash women consider it a normal part of their life cycle. The bashali not only serve as a birthing place, but are also a refuge for women during their menstruation, following a cultural tradition that keeps them temporarily separated from the rest of the community at these times, underscoring the women's connection to life and nature. This feminine space, separated from the main homes, reflects the ancestral customs of the Kalash and their particular way of understanding purity and the life cycle. Although it may seem strange from an outside perspective, for Kalash women it is a fundamental aspect of their identity and culture. Isolation in these bashali is often also used for festivities and traditions, becoming a moment of reflection and self-connection. During their stay in the Basali, these women immerse themselves in their spirituality, strengthening their bond with the natural environment and their community. This period allows them to prepare for the arrival of new lives, while celebrating and honoring their identity as women within the rich Kalash culture. Despite modernization and the influence of contemporary medical practices, many Kalash women continue to prefer home birth, relying on their ancestral knowledge and the support of older women in the community. For them, maintaining this practice is a way of preserving their independence and their connection to the traditions that have been part of their lives for centuries, demonstrating once again the strength and resilience of their culture. Their religion and beliefs also differ greatly from those of the rest of the world, as well as from those of the vast majority of the Pakistani population who practice Islam. The Kalash people keep alive an ancient pagan polytheistic religion. This belief system is unique to the region and is deeply rooted in the veneration of gods and natural forces. The Kalash believe in spirits and deities that govern different aspects of nature and human life, and their rituals include offerings and animal sacrifices in honor of these supernatural beings. It is in their festivals where this religion manifests itself most vividly, through circle dances, ceremonial chants, and celebrations that mark the seasons and the Earth's fertility cycles. Kalash festivals are key moments for the community, not only in religious but also in social terms. Events such as the Joshi, spring celebration, and the Chamos, winter celebration, are rituals of thanksgiving and requests for good harvests, and every member of the community participates in the dances and offerings. During these festivals, animal sacrifices are performed on sacred altars, and the protection of the gods is invoked to ensure the prosperity of their people. It is a belief system that deeply connects their spirituality with the natural environment in which they live. The Kalash religion has become a fundamental aspect of their identity, which differentiates them from the predominant Muslim practices in Pakistan. The production and consumption of wine is also a fundamental part of Kalash culture, something that again clearly differentiates them from most communities in Pakistan, where alcohol is prohibited by law due to Islamic rules. For the Kalash, wine has a significance beyond the merely social. It is a central element in their rituals and festivities. During festivals and religious ceremonies, wine is consumed communally, shared as a symbol of joy, celebration, and spiritual connection. This sacred and festive use of wine reinforces the unique identity of the Kalash and their resistance to outside influences that attempt to change their customs. Grape growing and winemaking have been traditional practices for the Kalash for centuries, passed down from generation to generation. Although legal restrictions in Pakistan often complicate these activities, the community continues to defend their right to preserve these ancestral customs that form an essential part of their way of life and festivals. For the Kalash, wine is not only a beverage, but a bond that unites the community and connects its present with its historical roots. The government of Pakistan, along with various non-governmental organizations, is actively working to ensure the survival of the Kalash community and the preservation of their rich culture, as their current population is between 3,000 and 4,000 members. Because of this, programs have been implemented that promote sustainable tourism and celebrate their traditional festivals, recognizing the importance of their unique heritage. However, despite these efforts, the Kalash face numerous challenges, such as cultural pressure from surrounding Muslim communities, climate change, and the migration of youth to urban areas in search of better opportunities. These and other factors threaten their way of life and put their identity at risk, underscoring the urgent need to support them in their struggle to maintain their heritage. From Uncensored World, we hope that this video has helped you to discover one of the most remote and unknown tribes on the planet, and that it has been as interesting for you as it has been for us. If so, do not hesitate to leave us a nice like and a comment. It is the best way to help us to keep working to bring you every week interesting content like this, or like this video that you can watch now to discover another of the most mysterious and beautiful places on the planet. Click on it. You will enjoy it.